Act the fool, girl.
I'm here.
Act the fool.
Hello friends and welcome to my channel. My name is EJ Marino and I'm here to make it clear I have a lot to talk about in this episode of Drag Race, so let's dive into the Charles family backyard ball. Before we dive into the episode fully, oh my goodness, I am kind of shocked by what we end up with as our top 4. We had someone who I thought floated their way through the competition. We had somebody who I think is doing the best of the best. It's a strong top 4 in the way that the 3 of them are strong and one of them is not as strong. But before we get into that top 4, this is our top 5 and it is a ball challenge, which is always my favorite challenge. It makes the queens be a little bit more fashionable and not the like quick fashion kind of way. There's the eleganza looks. I wish there was a bit more categories like a executive realness and stuff like that. There's usually 1, 2, or 3. This one just had, like, I would say 1.5. The cousin one was a bit strange. I wasn't in love with that category, but that final one produced some very good looks. So I'm excited to jump into the ball stuff, but I am just trying to process the ending of this episode because it really took me by surprise. The episode starts off with the queens coming back in, and Alexis Mateo is a bit sad because she had to deal with all that India Farah drama. I understand completely because it was kind of a gameplay maneuver. Like they could have, India could have said that at any point. She waited until this final moment to do it, so it did feel a bit less honest, and I want to help Shea as opposed to I'm trying to keep myself in, but Shea does not know if she can trust Alexis. I don't think any of them really trusted Alexis after this moment, so if India was lying or not, her plan still worked because it really changed how I think the queens looked at Alexis. I have no ill will against her. I thought she was a stronger person to bring to the top 4 because she adds a little bit more. Her runways are a little bit more like, oh, that's interesting, as opposed to like Blair, who I find a bit boring at times. At least Alexis, if the outfit isn't wow, she's at least doing something with it. So I can see her being upset because she knew this was going to affect her place in the competition, and it sadly very much affected it. RuPaul walks into the workroom and tells the queens that they are doing a RuPaul Charles family backyard ball. I think this is a cool concept because it doesn't have to have the full well, let's have RuPaul bring her family in and we're going to talk about it. There's no makeover stuff. I actually really like that this was a simple ball challenge with a RuPaul backdrop. It wasn't completely about her. There was, her family there as well, but it was a pretty interesting little challenge. I wish the country cousin category was a little bit more fleshed out, but it had some good moments and some decent outfits like Juju's big old hat. We will talk about it. But yeah, I like this because the 2 categories are the cousin country outfit and then like a picnic eleganza, just using stuff around the backyard and the barbecue for an outfit. The queens actually had some pretty impressive stuff because it turns out that most of the queens have designing backgrounds. Juju may not be the best, but she knows what she's doing. Shea has like a university background with it, and then Cracker had her whole upbringing that she talked about in her season as well, with her mom and wanting to make fashion and stuff like that. So I thought this was a group of queens who actually knew what the hell they were doing. Even someone like Alexis and Blair, who I don't think of like craftsmen, they still have an eye for fashion, so they can still add something to it. These were like a top 5 I actually really enjoyed seeing do a ball challenge because they all have very different fashion, all have very different points of views, and it showed here. And it was a pretty interesting little episode because we got to see them be creative, we got to see some of the drama unfold, but overall I just had a good episode with some decent outfits. It didn't blow me away, but there was still a lot in here that was enjoyable. One of the bigger moments of the episode was when they all found notes by India. Well, all of them except for Juju, which was a little bit sad because, why didn't India leave Juju a note? Like, that was supposed to be her girl. Whatever there. But yeah, overall, I actually really like this little note thing because I thought it was going to full on go into like Shangela, Trixie, Thorgy notes. And I was like, I cannot handle this. But overall, it was a fairly decent India left notes. I can't believe they added this into the show. You could tell they were trying to pad for time because before RuPaul gets in and makes a couple of them cry, they were just kind of like twiddling their thumbs what to do. So they had the little bit of a note drama. It didn't blow up into anything stupid. Juju read Alexis's note to Alexis and there was no ooh, I'm throwing shade at you from beyond the grave kind of thing. India just was like, okay, girl, have fun. Do what you need to do. I screwed you over, so have fun. Yeah, I thought this was okay. It basically kept it going until RuPaul comes in, and RuPaul comes in, makes a couple of them laugh, makes a couple of them uncomfortable, a couple of them cry. Shea has a very heartfelt backstory. So does Juju. So I actually liked seeing this, because sometimes RuPaul comes in, plays therapist, and I just roll my eyes. And this was actually RuPaul letting them speak to her, and instead of her speaking at them. And I actually really enjoyed that point from RuPaul. I never see RuPaul just sit back and let it wash over her, and actually she felt like she listened. I know the cameras were rolling, so everything they said matters, because that's how RuPaul works, and she always wants those Emmys, but I thought this was a better moment than usual, because sometimes I cringe at these RuPaul playing like armchair therapists, because it gets kind of annoying. Since we have a lot of runway stuff to get into, let's dive into it right away. RuPaul comes out in a pretty decent outfit. It wasn't one of my favorites of the season, but it wasn't like one of the worst ones. It's going to be hard for her to top that beautiful gown she wore last week, but this was a pretty interesting RuPaul look. I like the sleek back bottom to it with a little like puffy middle. I thought it was kind of cute for her. It was a different silhouette than I normally see RuPaul in, and it was kind of on theme with the checkerboard. I don't know, like I got lucky with RuPaul being on theme one time last week. It won't ever happen again, but we do get into our runway here, and it starts off with Cracker in that cousin category. Okay, Cracker's outfit was interesting. She looked a lot like Alaska there, but she was the funniest. I wasn't in love with the outfit. It was a little trashy, and I know that's kind of the thing, but it didn't have that like glamour trash. It was just kind of like, oh, that looks like a fun outfit of the girl I would see down the street. So I enjoyed it, but she was the funniest. We also had Juju, who I thought had the look of this like category. The big old hat, the denim jeans. It was a really cute look, and she really served it. She wasn't as funny as Cracker was, but she still offered something that I thought was enjoyable. Because then you go to someone like Blair St. Clair, and oh my goodness.
Well, just as I thought, trash.
She was bragging and getting so cocky early in this episode, so when she came out, I was expecting to go, oh my god, I was proven wrong by Blair once again, but all my feelings were like proven right. She was mediocre and average in this episode. This hillbilly country ugly ass outfit was not it. I liked it better when Eureka did it on her first time on the show. It was just kind of bland, because then especially you go to someone like Shea, who had a very like real look to her with the big airbrush tee that is so typical for a like black family gathering. I love it. I think it's so interesting. It's such a nuanced choice, and that's exactly what Shea brings to this, is like real smarts to her looks. I really liked it, because then you go to like Alexis's outfit, and I did not like that. I thought it was so boring. So her little coquito coming out was cute. I got the joke. Haha. It just was a boring ass outfit. As soon as I saw this outfit, I knew she was in the bottom, especially with Blair and her. I was like, oh, that's the clear bottom too. I forgot all of them go into the bottom if they're not in the top. Now we go to the eleganza look, where Cracker comes out, and I think is an okay outfit. The judges seem to love it. That my stepbrother, who I watched it with, seemed to love it, but I wasn't like in love with it. It was fine. I thought the top was a little bland. It wasn't like a wow to me. I wasn't like, oh my god, this was Cracker's best look. It was a cute look. It was fine. Whereas opposed to like Juju, who I thought had one of the best looks on the runway. It was fashion. It was something. Yes, I know the hemline wasn't perfect, so Carson has to call it out. I get it, but it just kind of threw me off, because I thought she really looked good. The wig and everything. I thought she really stood out and was so striking. And then you go to someone like Blair, who I can't believe Blair decided to come out in this outfit that I felt she's worn like 4 times already. The wet hair, the gown, there wasn't anything interesting about this look. It was a clear bottom look for me, because it just didn't have that extra moment to make me just sit back and go, look, all this like I don't love Blair feelings, maybe I'm proven wrong like last week. Not this week. This was a very below average look, and I was kind of shocked by that, because she's also sandwiched in between someone like Juju and then someone like Shea, who Shea comes out with an outfit, again, I don't love, but I thought was very interesting, very different. It was an interesting silhouette with the chaps and all that. I know Michelle doesn't love chaps, but she didn't call her out for it, so not so bad. Overall, I really liked Shea's look. I just wasn't like wowed by it. The only one that really took me by surprise was Juju. Okay, never mind. Alexis's outfit surprised me, because I hated it so much. One of my least favorite things. It looked lopsided. The pool thing wasn't working. The red on there with the cups. I just wasn't in love with Alexis's look. It was a clear bottom, and honestly, I probably would have sent her home. I think Blair was a little bit more of a floater this season and hasn't done anything well, but I think Alexis's outfits tonight were much worse. I normally don't talk about the judging and the deliberation too much, but I do like that they all thanked Shea for being so helpful. I thought it was going to hurt Shea in this episode, but it actually turned out to be a positive because they all remember that. They all remember that Shea helped them out in each in little individual ways. Maybe not Blair and Alexis, but they still seemed kind and receptive to what the other queens were saying. So I really like that. I actually really liked the judging because it felt fair. It really just was like, oh, I agree with what everyone's saying. Usually I feel like the judges are gaslighting me and they're saying something that is different than what I saw with my own eyes, but this week it was pretty fair. It was also pretty fair that Cracker won this week. I personally would have went for Juju B, but Juju just wasn't as funny, just was okay, and a high okay, as opposed to Cracker that I thought was good. I personally wasn't in love with it, but I'm never going to be upset with the Cracker win because I enjoy her. I still think it should have been Juju personally, because, oh boy, I think Juju would have been more fun in that final lip sync. Again, it wasn't a bad lip sync. It needed some Juju love. Boy, in that deliberation, before we get to that lip sync, Blair is pressed. I have not seen Blair like this before, so I was kind of surprised to see her so chitty-chatty, so vocal about how she feels. It's like, girl, sometimes we should keep it cute and put it on mute. And she needed to do that because this wasn't a cute look. And I thought it was really going to hurt her when it went to the time. We'll see when everyone pulls out the lip sync of, the lipstick to see who it was. I don't know if people voted for her. I'm curious to see. So let's get to that lip sync because I had a good time with it. Roxy Andrews is the lip sync assassin. She's here to make it clear. I know you love me, baby. That's why we brought her here. She looked great. She performed great. Her and Cracker go up against each other to One Last Time by Ariana Grande. Cracker is lucky it wasn't like a dancey R&B-ish kind of Grande song because Roxy would have just ate her up even more. I thought Cracker did well, but Roxy was the clear winner in this lip sync. Roxy does win, pulls out the lipstick, and it says Alexis. Like, goop. I was surprised, but not surprised. It's a weird middle ground. Like, I'm surprised that they got rid of Alexis because she was a bit stronger and I would have liked to see her go to the top 4, but she had the weaker week. And, with all that India drama, I can see it truly having affected how they all felt about her. I'm surprised by it. How do you guys feel? Would you guys have gotten rid of Blair or Alexis? Let me know down in the comments below. Alright everyone, that was it for my review of the Backyard Ball. What did you guys think of this episode? What do you guys think of this review? Did you have fun? Did you agree with the winner? Do you agree with the eliminated queen? Let me know your feelings down in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel because I make videos like this every single week. And give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy this because YouTube takes those way too seriously. Alright guys, let's talk about this episode of Drag Race down below.